Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep? That is unbelievable.
Y'all know he's in the files, right? The U.S. is currently in the largest government shutdown in history, largely attributed to Congress disagreeing on subsidies for the Affordable Care Act, but something else is happening right now that's not being discussed. House Resolution 577, demanding the immediate release of all federal documents relating to Jeffrey Epstein, was nearly passed. To force a vote on the resolution, the House needed 218 signatures on a discharge petition. They had 217, awaiting this woman, Miss Adelita Grijalva, to be sworn in so she could sign. And right before she was sworn in, the government shut down. It's been mostly Republicans hostile to the legislation, flip-flopping and playing games about the release of information. And a great deal of this popped off when U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi told Donald Trump that he was in the files. But there's an important distinction to be made between the list and the files. So let's discuss that. Jeffrey Epstein was a multi-millionaire financier pedophile with ties to Prince Andrew, Pope John Paul II, Bill Gates, and the former Prime Minister of Israel, Ehud Barak. He built an international sex trafficking ring, exploiting dozens of hundreds of little girls at his Manhattan mansion, Palm Beach estate, and most infamously at a private resort in the U.S. Virgin Islands nicknamed Epstein Island. He was eventually caught, but before he went to trial to snitch on his co-conspirators and clients, the FBI announced that he killed himself under very strange circumstances. Congress has since then put out a body of investigative holdings that we colloquially call the Epstein Files. These include more than 10,000 child videos, flight logs to and from Epstein Island, and names of moguls across industries, including entertainers, financiers, socialites, and politicians, all associated with Jeffrey Epstein. The greatest controversy, however, has been around the Epstein List. This is an alleged ledger of specific clients Jeffrey Epstein pimped little girls out to. In 2024, Trump's campaign ran on the release of the list, and people who trusted Trump to be the anti-establishment politician loved that about him. But in May, Pam Bondi notified the president that he was mentioned several times in the files. On June 5th, Elon Musk tweeted that Trump was suppressing the release of the files because he was implicated. A month later, the FBI claimed the list never existed. Last month, Epstein's girlfriend, Ghislaine Maxwell, appealed the Trump administration to pardon her current conviction. Trump said, quote, "I wouldn't consider it or not consider it. I don't know anything about it," end quote. And in August, Hunter Biden cited a biographical text about Donald Trump that claimed Epstein introduced him to his third wife. But Hunter Biden smokes crack, so take that how you want to take it. A lot of liberals are trying to make this into a partisan issue to condemn Donald Trump, but then they look the other way when hearing that the Clintons were some of Epstein's closest friends, also identified in the files with people like Barack Obama, and that's a moral failing on their part. A devil is a devil, and the revolutionary position exists beyond the partisan boundaries established by the state. So don't get it twisted. Really, don't get it twisted. For more revolutionary black masculinist content, support the Black Male Journal. All right.